everyone. Zainab, hi. Wow, what a treat to have you.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
Good.
Danny, you remember Zainab?
Hello.
Nice to see you again.
I'm going to be in Tampa next month for Florida Philanthropic Network if you're going to be around.
Oh, you're muted.
I will be at the meeting, so looking forward
Oh,
to
Yes,
I'll be there
perfect.
too.
We'll see you there.
it. Awesome.
Hi, Nicolette. Hi, Lulis. Hi, Libby. Undine.
Hi, good
Reverend
night.
Greg.
Hi. Hi, Kirsten. Hi.
How is everyone?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Good. Excellent. All right, we're going to jump right in. And we're doing this very similar to the style of our last session, where we're just going with a live hands-on training workshop. We're not doing slides. We're not doing formal structure. We're answering a lot of questions. So it's super interactive. And we're hoping that you'll get a lot out of this. So we have Andrea Massetta and Danny Alberttis helping us today. And I'm going to let them take it away. In the meantime, be thinking about what you'd like for next month's topic, because remember that we really want to gear this around what would help you and what you feel is going to be a real asset to your learning in terms of AI, in terms of how it applies to what we're doing every day in our roles as nonprofit leaders. All right, Danny and Andrea, welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Tonight, wherever you are in the world. I think I've met a lot of you. Does anyone not know me? Let's start with that. Is that easier? Let's see, is there anything in the chat? Ta-da. Great to be connected. Okay, perfect. I'm going to let Andrea introduce herself really quick, ladies first, and then I'll give a brief intro on me. Andrea,
Good
take it on.
evening, everybody. Thank you, Kirsten, for allowing me to be part of this amazing webinar series. And for those who have known me, I know I've been working with Kirsten and Kannico for now. I've met her, probably it'll be 3 years, 4 years. Wow, time flies. On different projects that we collaborate, and I bring in more of my marketing, branding, and expertise. I've also been in the board of Imagina Children's Foundation with Lulis. With her, we go way back, and just trying to share my knowledge on the best practices and how it can impact your mission, how we can be of help. So don't be shy of sharing your concerns, your experiences, your struggles, because this is a safe zone where we can collaborate, everybody, and just share tools, knowledge, expertise, and how, and maybe even connections and networking, so that we can all grow together. And I'm sorry, I've been working with Danny as well, actually, already. Forgive me, Danny. We
just met 10 minutes ago. How are you, Andrea? Nice to meet you.
No. Was it already last year? There was a presentation that was at Lane University and the social impact, and also in a couple of other little projects. And I just find it to be a blessing to be able to have the opportunity of collaborating with them.
Perfect. Hello, hello, hello. Do we have any more people? We're building up. We're getting there. Melbourne, Florida. I see someone in California. Nice. Modesto, California. Yes, please tell me where you're at, everybody. I am not in the United States. I'm actually in Colombia right now. I'm actually in the beautiful mountains of South America. My name's Daniel Alberttis. I am, I guess, a nonprofit expert is a good way to kind of call it at this point. I have a career in corporate banking, in which I banked and worked with a lot of nonprofit organizations. I have a master's in nonprofit management. I've been a trustee at a prestigious foundation in Palm Beach, Florida for the past decade, and have been probably close to $100 million in grant making by now. And so I think I have a good finger on the pulse of what's happening in the nonprofit world. And I've been lucky enough to be really close friends with Kirsten and Andrea for the last, probably close to 7-8 years now, right? And kind of understanding everything that they deal with on a consulting side and what they hear and what they see. And so I'm always interested in helping out and bringing new ideas that I get kind of from the for-profit, entrepreneurship side of the world, the sales world, and bring it to the nonprofit side. I think, if we could figure out how to make nonprofits a little bit more efficient, a little bit more collaborative, I think we can really start denting away at some of these, huge problems that we kind of have in the country and the world, frankly, not just the US. So I'd really love for this to be kind of interactive. I live in the AI space. I live in the marketing and sales space since like 5:30 every morning. I'm into it. So I'd love to hear from you, please, everybody. I'd love to hear what you're doing, what you're thinking about, what you're perplexed by in terms of AI or marketing. I'd rather, kind of fine tune something to the crowd as opposed to me just kind of going off in a tangent and just going out there. So please, if we can make this participatory, anyone that wants to speak up, please tell me.
I have something. Danny, why don't you also maybe just give a super brief overview of what we covered in the last webinar?
Yes,
As
that's a great point. Yeah, so
let's do that.
yeah, so last month we covered the introduction to ChatGPT. So does anyone not know what ChatGPT is by this point? Let's start with that. You can just raise your hand or just come off of mute. Just tell me what you're thinking on that, please. Okay, Odine, you don't know or you do know?
I don't know much about it, so I'm probably the most novice here.
Actually, also, Danny, what would be good is if you talk about ChatGPT, but also Bard and Gemini, and what does it mean that there are different GPT? That part baffles me.
Yeah, I think the best way to call it is, if you all remember when Google first came out, what was before Google, like Yahoo search and a couple of things, that existed, way back in the day. So if you think about how search works now, it's basically, you ask Google a question and you're going to get these itemized line by line answers. And if you think about what it is, it's really just a website somewhere in the world of which Google scraped and indexed, like the Kannico site. And it said, okay, this is what Kannico does. And it just creates a link. So I'm looking for a nonprofit consultant. There's this kind of concept called SEO rankings, which we can probably do an entire session on, what's called search engine optimization. And that's how you optimize your web page to show up on these search parameters, right? And so, the downside of that way of searching is that you're going page by page or website by website and kind of figuring out where in the site the words that you were trying to identify, right? So I'm looking for, AI in marketing, and I have, 30 different websites. It's kind of up to the user to go in individually and do the research and search. Now, that could be very tedious. I think I'm a great Googler. And so you kind of figure out little tips and tricks on how to, use certain quotations to find words and different things like that. The difference with ChatGPT, what you mentioned is Bard and Gemini, and now Copilot from Microsoft, is this concept called generative AI. And what generative AI basically means is that you're able to write or speak into a computer system, into a platform, into a program in which it has already taken all of those websites, all of that information that's out there. And think about it, it's kind of like broken up into these small little chunks that it has access to. And so when you ask it a question or you ask it to act as an expert in something, like in this case, you would say, hey, ChatGPT, act like an AI expert, marketing expert for nonprofits. And you ask it certain questions. What it actually does is it goes into its database, into its huge system. And this is kind of the advanced technology of what it does, is that it actually pulls information from all of those different websites into I call it like a pot, right? So it's this giant pot, and you slice up, you're making a stew or whatever you want to call it. And it'll actually answer you and give you a detailed answer depending on how you prompt it or you ask it to. And you can actually interact with it and continue the conversation as deep as you want to go, as fine-tuned as you want to go. And so it's a different way of finding answers that you are traditionally have not been used to doing. Is that a good example on kind of just the overall general aspect of it? Okay. And so the names that Kirsten, threw out there was just like there's Google search, and what's the other one? DuckDuckGo, and there's Microsoft has their search, Bing, exactly, Bing and all them. Bing's unique, and I'll tell you why. So the first major company to come out with this generative AI model is a company called OpenAI, which beautifully enough is a nonprofit itself. It's actually a limited impact nonprofit organization that has raised billions and billions of dollars through a really unique structure. We can talk about that later, but it was pretty cool. And so what they were kind of the first to market, and they've been working on it for, gosh, probably 5 or 6 years that I know of them, from ChatGPT 1, 2, 3. Now we're all the way up to 4, 4.5, and ChatGPT 5 is coming out in a bit. And so about 6 months ago, Microsoft made a, who owns Bing, the search engine, made a big $10 billion investment into, yeah, we'll talk about that right now as well, Libby. It's a great point. They made a $10 billion investment, and so they integrated ChatGPT's database and the generative AI model into Bing, and so you can access a lot of the features in Bing. So Microsoft's platform is called Copilot, just like you would have, you know, Microsoft Outlook versus Google's Gmail. You know, those are the others. Google has Gemini, which they just launched, and there's some really cool promotions on Gemini. We've talked about Bard is another one that has come out from the Microsoft side that they're kind of bringing out there. There's one called Claude. There's a bunch of them, and those are referred to what's called LLMs, and that's a large language model. And basically, it's just a model where all this information has gone. I mean, billions and billions of data points. I mean, OpenAI says they went actually scrape the internet. If you can imagine how many billions and billions of websites there are in the world, that's what ChatGPT has gone out and, or OpenAI has gone out and kind of put together. And so when it comes to the question right now in terms of security, in terms of what you can or cannot do, on the basic plan, so the free plan, so ChatGPT has a free plan, and we talk more about this where we are at this point. So there's a question about using 3.5 or 4.0. Yes, I'll get into it right now on that. So ChatGPT is free. If you wanted to sign up, you can go to OpenAI or just Google, ironically, Google ChatGPT on OpenAI. You can create a free account. That has limited features. And one of the downsides of it is that if you put any information into it, think of like even Google search, right? If you Google something, Google is understanding your search, and they're saving that search, and they're usually kind of ranking it and figuring out like what are the most searched words, right? Like if you kind of just Google, you know, why do dogs, you're going to have Google kind of give you all these different, like, why do dogs do this or why do dogs do that? Because people have looked for that a lot in many ways. And so one of the downsides of the free version is that ChatGPT will use whatever questions you ask it to actually train its model and actually improve its performance and do a little better. In the paid versions, you need to be on the team plan, which is now $30 a month for ChatGPT not to use your information in its training module. So the good and bad on that is going to be that you can, if you're not going to give it sensitive information, like please don't go in there and put your social security, put your organizations, you know, I mean, financials are public information already, you know, through your 990s and things like that. So the nonprofit space is going to be different. If you were a for-profit, I'd probably say not to input certain information unless you were in a team or enterprise plan. But on a free plan, you do want to be careful on the information that you put in there because it actually is training the model. And interestingly, I just read a report yesterday from a Chinese researcher saying that ChatGPT may be getting a little bit dumber because of all of the information that it's learning from human beings, which I think is kind of funny. With it, that it's actually fine-tuning itself to kind of idiotic questions or you know, uneducated ways of interacting with it. And so that was a kind of interesting, you know, unexpected twist to that. So questions, comments. I will say that last month's webinar is available on the Kannico website. If you wanted to log in, there's a section where you will have access to all of the webinars that Kirsten and company have produced over the last year and change. I've been helping them put that together. And so I'm happy to say that it is live and you can go in there and sign up and watch last month's ChatGPT, intro to ChatGPT. I think that was a good one.
How does everyone?
Okay, the question, yeah. Sorry, so www.kannico.com.
And once they're there,
there's a section where it's actually it's Kannico/courses. If you wanted to go, I'll put it in the chat.
Perfect.
Courses, and you can find
I do recommend that if you weren't around last time, take a look at the webinar from last month. It was really, really, really helpful. I know we'll do a little more on that today, but it was very helpful as a good starting point.
Just register. It's free to log in and watch those videos. And please, user feedback is super important. We use our AI to fine tune the education platform that we're helping build out to these nonprofits. There is a chat GPT in Google and other websites. I don't understand that. Mariana, can you come off really quick and we have a conversation on that? Can you ask me what you're thinking?
Yes, you were mentioning that there is or artificial intelligence in Google. It's called Gemini. I didn't understand. So can you explain it? And pardon my ignorance.
No, that's fine. Listen, I think we're everywhere. I'm on some huge webinars and there's thousands of people and everyone's just starting out. So please, if I get ahead of myself, please, I think the AI is taking over sometimes myself.
And thank you for last time's webinar, because I overcame my fear and downloaded the chat GPT and asked for a letter. And somebody should have taken a picture of me when I saw the whole letter, like, oh my God, this is what I need.
That's so funny. It's funny you said that because I was just, Andrea and I were just on another webinar for AI, and a woman wrote in the chat, she goes, I've been an expert copywriter for 30 years and I'm sitting here crying because ChatGPT in 30 seconds writes better than my 30-year experience. So it's interesting.
Can I just add, actually, Danny? Yeah. I mean, and I wish I should have actually commented on that person, because I actually was on a different seminar about SEO. And it is important to know that the AI is not to take over what we're doing. We still need to put our heart. And it is that the perfect formula on the solution, it is that human interaction with the AI. And that's when it truly shines. And even with SEO, somebody said maybe we can do a webinar on that, but that's for another topic. It has proven that it's, for now, things have changed and they evolve, of course, but for now, the best practices is that combination, not just AI, not just humans, but that combination. So it's very important to keep in that. And I believe we're going to be going into some tools. So. And if I may just add,
and I love that. Yeah, please go ahead. Go. Yeah.
Sorry. I was just going to say, if your organization is working on the SharePoint or the Microsoft environment, then that's just not to be confused. That's when Copilot really is just simplified. It's all ready to be working. It's ChatGPT, but for that Microsoft environment. So for PowerPoint, Word, Excel. If not, it's ChatGPT. And Gemini, it's more of like, to my understand, more of like a search tool within Google. So I still think ChatGPT, especially for this type of audience, is the best tool to utilize at this point.
Yeah, so let me explain. So Mariana, do you understand how there's different search engines? Like you can go to google.com, or you can go to yahoo.com, or you can go to bing.com, right? And those are unique. You're going to get different answers, right? If I search for AI marketing for nonprofits in each of them, I will get a different answer, just in the way that what's called an algorithm. It's just a mathematical calculation that the computers have to kind of present results to you. So just like different companies, big companies own different search engines, they own different LLMs, they own different large language models, and they're fine-tuned differently. And that's where things kind of come in. It's kind of like a regular person that kind of goes to different education, different, bachelor's, master's, PhD, and you're fine-tuned into a specific subject. Every AI engineering group has fine-tuned their models differently. So OpenAI is a brand new company after a couple of years that built their own LLM and trained it. Google has been doing it for a while with all of their information. Microsoft has been doing the same. And so when I say, so the concept is that it's not really called so ChatGPT is a brand. It's a company. If that's, it's one product. It's not everything. The whole concept is called generative AI. Okay. And so artificial intelligence has been used for probably 30, 40, 50 years, right? Artificial intelligence is kind of this concept of the computers and the software coming up with mathematical calculations based on statistics. That's basically what it is. And that's basically how generative AI works right now. It's a statistical probability that your question is being answered in their best judgment of what you're looking for. Does that help understand a little bit, Mariana? Yeah, very cool. How can AI represent an organization's unique voice? Does each AI platform have a copywriting style? And we should select one that sounds like our voice and image. Okay, great question for that. So the answer is every AI model is different based on how it's fine-tuned, right? So you're going to have some specialized LLMs that are more for coding. They're more, computer-based programming situations. There are other ones that are kind of based on language models to interact on the translating side or kind of understanding that. There's a concept called prompt engineering. And what prompt engineering basically is I don't know if you're familiar when you Google something, but for those that don't know, like if you're looking for a specific word in your Google search results, if you put it in quotation marks, right? So if I'm looking for AI, nonprofit, marketing agencies, and I just search that, I'm going to get Google's answers. But if I put any of those words in quotations, it tells Google that that word has to be included in my search results, okay? And so if you think about it, that's kind of like fine-tuning your search. Generative AI works in the same way. And so the question is, does it have your unique voice or does it have your copywriting style? Yes, perfect. So exactly, there's a way of customizing it in the aspect of it. If you look at the last webinar, there's a way of in ChatGPT itself where you can customize it. So for example, my children are in ChatGPT, my teenagers, right? And each one of them has it customized to their age, to the classes or courses they're taking, to their unique learning style based on the subject matter that they're doing. And so it comes down to a way of writing better prompts, correct? And so writing better prompts is you asking kind of the right questions, I saw this, I was on a webinar the other day and they called it GOGO, which is garbage, GIGO, G-I-G-O, garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you just ask it random questions like you would in Google, it's going to just give you kind of a standard boilerplate answer. The more you actually fine tune it, and this just means, look, I'll get someone throw me a nonprofit. I mean, who's out here? Give me a nonprofit name, and I'll just kind of, and this is about talking through it without even writing it, without even just using ChatGPT. It's kind of like just any other consultant, any expert that you would say, hey, can you help me write a letter? The consultant's going to ask you, like, okay, what do you do? Like, tell me a little bit about your organization, the Salvation Army. Perfect, right? So you're going to say, act like an expert copywriter specializing in the nonprofit sector, okay? With 20 years of experience working exclusively with the Salvation Army, right? So this is also about imagination here. And I kind of tell people that I work with and I consult with is, there is no more this I don't know when it comes to generative AI or just even ChatGPT, because you just ask it the question and just kind of put it out there and say, okay, what are my possibilities here, right? And so if you were hiring a consultant for the Salvation Army, you can have just a general marketing consultant. That's just a guy that he does for-profits, he does nonprofits, he does everything. Okay, you're going to get some kind of information. It may not be the best, but it's going to be something. But if you really wanted to pay kind of top dollar, what would you get? You would get a company or an agency that's been specifically working, not just in nonprofit, maybe not even just in Salvation Army, but how about the Salvation Army in South Florida, or has all this information where they're actually the subject matter expert. And so proper prompt engineering comes down to, I call it the genie in the bottle. Like, you're going to rub that lamp. What do you actually want? Like, what specific question and who do you want to talk to? It's kind of like that, concept. If you could talk to anybody in the world and pick their brain, who would you talk to? Who would you tell? Right? So it's the same thing. So you're going to act like this amazing expert in whatever you want to call it. You're doing a business plan, even for your nonprofit. Guess what? You're a 20-year McKinsey, Bain Capital expert, whatever you want to do from a consultant. You have an MBA from Harvard. You have your MBA in international business, like whatever it is that you specify the prompt to do, the better it's going to be. And I'm going to say there's not a wrong way of doing things, because the whole process is that it's okay. You're not going to make a mistake. The beautiful part is that you're always learning, and you're always learning to fine tune and get a better answer. And so the person that said earlier, was it, do you have a way of understanding your copy style? In the paid version, you can actually upload files to it. And that's one of the advantages of the paid version. Now, again, there's a paid version, and then there's a Teams version, which is like another $5 a month. In the regular paid version, if you upload files to it, ChatGPT will learn from it. Okay. So if you have something that's specific to your organization, now if it's just like generic, newsletters, generic, copy style that you wrote, things like that, I think that's going to be perfectly fine, because chances are it probably already has the information anyway, right? So what you want to do is, in the paid version, you can actually upload files and upload, 5 or 10 files and say, this is my writing style. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you're, a TED Talk speaker, if you're, someone that actually enjoys the drafting or the writing, or your organization has a unique way of having conversations, you can upload that and say, this is exactly how I write. And you're going to say, you're going to act like this. This is our organization, and you're going to continue with that aspect of that. In the video you will see from last month, you will see that I also spoke about creating what's called custom GPTs. And what a custom GPT basically is in the paid version, you have an opportunity of actually creating kind of like a subset. Imagine if you were to Google something, and every time you Googled it, you had to tell it, this is my organization. And you were like, we are this organization. We've been around for so long. We help these people. These are like, it kind of gets tedious time after time. And so with a custom GPT, you actually just create like one large prompt. It actually holds like up to 8,000 characters. And so you can actually program it to do something specifically. You can upload files to it. And so hypothetically, it'll understand your copywriting style, and you don't have to repeat it. And so you just go back to that custom GPT, and you could just ask it over and over again, and it'll understand exactly without asking you over and over, like, okay, tell me who you are, things like that. So I hope that answered those questions for that. Questions, comments? Are we all okay there on the same page?
The one thing that you taught me that I thought was incredibly helpful was the uploading of the information. Yes. The not being scared to have as many GPTs as I need. So I have them for every different client, every different project, everything I can think of. I've got them in there. I've got stuff that's personal. I've got things, I'm researching elder law for my mom. I'm, you name it, right? Scams, gift card scams. Yes, been there. We went through that not too long ago. I mean, I have all these GPTs, and it's funny because, you sort of think, oh, you're kind of, well, I need to streamline, right? But this is different. You actually need to think broader, and you need to make smarter and better use of the tools that we have. And so if that means that you have 15 GPTs, but it's so easy for you to just pop it, you've given them a name, you can just pop right into the one you need. You pick up the conversation right where you left off. And it's just, the brain clutter of like, okay, now where was I with that grant and the research? Okay, let me get back into it. I mean, I will say, even for us, it's a time saver because of the results, but it's a time saver mentally, because you don't have to try and get your head back in that space. And what if you weren't? Right. What if now you're in a hurry and you're not being as articulate as you were yesterday when you put in all the prompts that you needed? So I really, to me, the ChatGPT 4 is absolutely worth it.
And you're also on the team plan. So I know you're uploading client information, but you're in the team plan, and the team plan does not train off of your information. And so I think that's actually pretty valuable in what you do. I'm gonna change what I said earlier, where I said that in the free plan, it does train. There is a button in your settings where you can turn off the training aspect in the free plan. The only downside is that it does not save your search history on the left-hand toolbar. And so for Kirsten's point of being able to go back and forth in some of your searches, that's one of the downsides of choosing not to have the data train on you. There was a question about getting images from ChatGPT. Yeah, so the paid version of ChatGPT actually had OpenAI. Actually, OpenAI has several different kind of businesses within itself. So one is ChatGPT. It had a company called DALL-E, DALL-E. It has Whisper AI, which is their way of transcribing audio files and things like that. So DALL-E actually was included and merged into ChatGPT 4. So in the paid version, you actually have an image generator. And I actually thoroughly enjoy it because you can get really creative in terms of, again, prompt engineering. and kind of fine tuning it and doing different things. I will say that if you're looking for a more professional image only system, Midjourney is kind of hands down the place to go. Midjourney now, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there are AI generated influencers now on Instagram with millions of followers making tens of thousands of dollars a month, and they don't exist. They are people, mostly women, that are invented or made in Midjourney. And that's how good the technology is, that you're looking at Instagram and you think it's a real person from around the world, and it's not. Yeah.
Terrible.
So,
Terrible.
but you know what? But it gives you ideas for your organization, right? I mean, let's talk about the nonprofit side and say, okay, can we, you know, like in the US, right? We always have this issue of, you know, using children in our you know, marketing, right? Because of certain liabilities and certain laws and certain waivers. Well, guess what? You can use Midjourney and create as many amazing children that you want in whatever facet or aspect that you want, and that's going to be cheaper than hiring somebody or having the chance of, you know, putting yourself out there in danger of what you're doing. So again, sky's the limit in terms of what you can do. Things are growing and getting really fast in the side of there. Another cool thing about the images really quick is, because I know someone was asking before, was you can actually upload, let's say you have a nice image and you're like, I was at an event, you know, 5K, you were at a gala, whatever you want. You can actually, and you're like, you know, I'd love to post this on social media, but I'm not really a social media person. Like, what's a good tagline? Like, what should I say? Do I add hashtags? Do I add emojis? You can upload the picture to a paid version of ChatGPT and actually just tell it, this is my organization, you know, or have a custom GPT made that just helps you kind of identify, you know, Instagram posting or LinkedIn posting. And each one of the platforms is different. And you tell it, I want to post this picture on LinkedIn, or I want to post this picture on Instagram. You know, what would be a proper way of posting it? And it'll kind of give it to you. It'll just give you the different, you can say, give me 3 ideas, give me 5 ideas, give me 10 ideas. It's the genie. I mean, you ask it for it and it's kind of give back and do it for it. I saw the quick question. Yeah, the images are free on ChatGPT. They're yours to keep and use and what you're going to do. Not sure on the copyright side of things. A lot of them tend to look a little bit similar. There are some cool tricks. ChatGPT is not fantastic when it comes to words within pictures, and so maybe Andrea, you can talk about it in the Canvas side.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But and I believe with the
go.
free version of ChatGPT, you don't get the opportunity of generating images. However, you can do that. Well, I would hope that most of you being nonprofits have Canva, and you know you can get the Canva Pro because of being nonprofit. So that's what you really should be taking advantage of, because you have so many more possibilities, including the AI tools, like whether it's for writing, for designing, for erasing backgrounds, for modifying. So there are endless possibilities. And so that's where you would want to start, even for generating new images. And you can upload an image and then transform it as well. And if you'd like, we can always do like just a couple of little test runs. But I believe with image creation on ChatGPT, it's only in the paid version. Correct me, Danny, if I'm wrong.
It is. No, it is.
Otherwise, then go to Canva, which I also hope that most of you have already a TechSoup account as well, because there are so many tools out there that you can take advantage of. But
great, thank you so much. Very helpful.
And I can walk you through in any Canvas. I mean, this is an open forum and free space, so we can dive into some of the tools or areas that, you know, whether we want to stick with the ChatGPT and show you how to create some
Let's do some demos.
Let's do that, and then we can jump into like on the Canvas side so that it's a nice flow.
Okay. Perfect. I'm going to show you a really cool new platform that I've been using. Let's see, can I share my screen, por favor?
I made you co-host, you should be fine.
Oh, beautiful, thank you. So let's see if I can find the right one, because I have so many tabs open. Okay, is this the right one? Can you see Pictory and ChatGPT? Can you see these? Are they popping up? Is that Pictory? Okay, cool. So Pictory, it's working a little slow today, so hopefully it's not going to be as bad. Oh, by the way, they just announced it. They actually made their own GPT. I'll show it to you in the store and how it works. Pictory is really cool in the sense that it is a AI video generator. And so what I do to help some nonprofits that I mentor and that I volunteer for is I help them actually create kind of cool social media videos pretty quickly, right? And so one of the cool features here is this concept called script to video. So I created a free trial account. You get 14 days. I think you can create like 3 10-minute videos. I have nonprofits that are doing full-blown kind of courses, educational material on lactation and maternal care and all these different things using this. So it's pretty cool. So what I want to do is, I don't know what I want to write, because I'm like, what do we actually want to write about? So let's go into ChatGPT, and we're going to have ChatGPT kind of help us, work on this. So I'm going to show you really quick where the Explore GPTs. So I'm in a paid version. Okay, this is the paid version of what GPT is. I will show you kind of quickly where you can actually go into the custom instructions aspect. If you have the pre-plan or the paid version really quick, you can kind of go into custom instructions. And this is where you can actually tell ChatGPT a little bit about you, a little bit about your organization. The downside of this one is that if you're constantly wanting to change the way you want it to have output with you, you'll constantly have to replace and change, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? I mean, if you're on the free plan, you can still use this, and then maybe use like a Google Doc or some other form where you could just copy, templates of, when I'm copywriting, please respond to me like this. When I'm looking for social media, please respond to me. Like I said, for the $20, getting the paid version is just a lot easier. From that, there's also a section here in settings and beta where you can actually go into the chat training. Okay, and so you can actually opt out of the training and kind of have it from there on the chat history side of things, on where you see it. Okay, and so you'll see that the chat history actually removed itself. So can I put it back on? And there it is. Okay, so in the paid version, in the non-paid version, you're only going to be on 3.5. You're going to see down here that you're not going to have a little paperclip, which is the uploader, and it tells you GPT-4 comes with DALL-E browsing analysis limit 100 messages per hour. That's kind of the other really good thing about the paid version, is that you can actually tell it to go to a website. And so many times, I may just start off and say, this is the nonprofit I'm working with, go to this website. It'll go and analyze the website for you, and then come back, and it'll really have a good understanding of what the website is, and you're kind of be ahead of the game a little bit on that side. Okay. Explore GPTs. This is kind of where you can actually go in here, and there's over, 3-4 million GPTs. Everyone kind of builds things and customizes it, and, kind of does everything they want to do on this, right? So there's DALL-E, which is a whole section on image creators. I've actually been playing around with this image creator. It's been really cool, with an organization that I've been helping. There's a writing one we can go into, Write for Me, Academic Assistant Pro. You can create, SEO materials. There's just a lot, right? So what I want to do really quick is actually I want to build a 1-minute script, right? So I'm actually going to just search. I haven't done this before. I'm doing it live with you. I'm kind of going to go in here and just like Google the word script, right? And so, it'll kind of give you the most common ones or the ones used. And so what you'll see here is the name of the GPT, who it's built by, how many people have used it. So this one's been used over 1,000 times, which is frankly not a lot, to be honest, because there's people that have used this tens of thousands, and some of the more popular ones you'll see have a lot of usage, right? But I'm kind of this is for creating YouTube scripts. I'm gonna just go with the first one just because I'm not really tied to what's kind of going on there right now. So someone throw a nonprofit out at me, and we're gonna just ask it to write a 1-minute script, and then I'll show you how cool it is to build a video on it. So who wants to be the guinea pig? Come on, somebody. Is there someone in the chat? What does it say?
Golden Thread Initiative.
Okay, tell me a little bit about what Golden Thread Initiative does. Connects visionary philanthropists to women's programs and works. Okay, perfect. So let's do this. Okay, so we're gonna say, act. Here we go. Act like a 20-year expert script writer, solely focused on working with non-profit clients. I will say that I write fast, and it'll pick up all my errors. So if it's okay if you see a typo, that's how cool it is. I don't care. Believe it or not, I've actually gotten to the point where I'm talking to it. I have a kind of cool tool where I can just talk to it and tell it what I want, and it actually talks to me back. So that's a whole different story. But anyway, don't worry about punctuation. It's really good at kind of understanding where you want to go with it, right? So write me a 1-minute script. Tell me what you want to focus on this for Golden Thread, and someone just read it out to me so I don't have to go back into the chat, please. Okay, what do you want the script to be on? Anything specific? Focus it on
Danny, when you
solving-
say script,
Mhm.
what does that mean, a script? What do you mean?
It's for a video. Sorry, a script.
Oh, a video script. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So
Short
on
video.
theme, what would be a good script? What would be a theme for a good script for a video for your organization? What kind of messaging would you want to put out through a video? Maybe she's not there. Maybe she stepped away.
Okay, so let's just.
Oh, there she is.
someone's in the
Inviting
chat. Yeah,
people
what
to
does it say?
follow them on social media. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So really quick from what I see here, it actually went through and gave me some stylistic and creative options on what the montage should look like, right? And so because I'm going to be using Pictory for this, I don't want to have the advice that it's giving me, right? So this is when I talk about fine tuning where we are here, right? Because really all I want is the narrator voiceover, right? I could probably do an opening dawn, breaking over diverse urban landscape, transitioning to scenes of women from various things, right? But because I'm going to use Pictory and I'm just going to just insert the written like transcript of what someone would be talking about, it'll kind of go through it, right? So I'm going to just say, you know what, it's great, but please, and I'm nice to ChatGPT because it's nice to you back. So I'm going to say please and thank you. Rewrite it only using the narrator. No creative guidance.
To piggyback on what you just said, Danny, I actually always use please and thank you as well, because I feel like maybe ChatGPT will learn that that's my style of also speaking. But just like if I do it with Alexa, I'm like, can't forget your good manners. So.
Yeah, it's funny because there's theories out there by researchers that if you actually promise to tip it like $200 or a certain amount of money, that it actually delivers better results. And so it's cute. Like in some of my GPTs that I build, I will say you will be handsomely rewarded for following these instructions. Handsomely, not just a general tip, but Danny's gonna take care of you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be okay with this, right? So it's just a narrator speaking on this, right? And we could read it, we can kind of look through it, we can customize it, we could tell it this is our voice, we could say here's our website. I mean, for saving time, I'm gonna go just kind of really with the rough aspect of it, and assuming that it's going to be exactly what I want. But this is a time and place where you can actually kind of go through it and say, you know what, let's change this, let's edit that, let's make it more of this voice or kind of whatever you're doing. But I really want to show you Pictory because I think that's where the fun is right now. So you're gonna go into the script video. It's really easy. You can literally just Control V, paste it in there. There is my video. It's going to be saved. Sorry, there's my script, my transcript. It's going to be saving it. I'm going to hit proceed. It's going to work its magic. It's going to talk to all the little hamsters running around wheels and, understanding this. Now, I will preface this by saying that the one we are making, we do not have an audio version. Okay, so what we're going to be building is a video that is just going to be words on captions, and it's going to show it to you. What I would tell you to do is that separately, you can actually record this. Okay, So let's see, or you can use hyper realistic voices from another company called 11 Labs, or you can record yourself, which is what some people do when they can record themselves. I don't have my chat on, so Kirsten, if you see anything interesting, please let me know, or Andrea, on kind of what's going on and what they're saying. So it's pretty cool. So if you were to upload your own, voice, so let's say you recorded the same actual the same words that were written, you just put your microphone on, do a voice memo on your phone, send it to your computer. You just kind of go to my uploads, you would upload it, and then you just kind of sync it and say, adjust it to all this. I will say that the voices are a little still robotic in this side. Not sure if we have some of the standard voices. We'll just choose Adeline, the first one. And then I kind of show you, let's see if they can kind of go through it and give us an idea.
Question in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
Does the software pick up anything from the organization's website, or is it only the information you provided it? And if not, could you share the website with the software to pick up more information about the organization?
In ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
if you give me the website, I'll add it to this. Yeah. Yeah, do you want to give me the website really quick? Is it in the chat?
It's www.goldenthreadinitiative.org.
It is in the chat.
And then the next question is the script going to be unique, or does it reuse phrases that are generated for other users?
If I may just...
It depends on how you prompt it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're writing a letter, just always, or like if you're writing a case study or something like, just always still double check for plagiarism, just to be certain. And there are free tools for that as well. But part of like the video that Danny was saying, from a marketing standpoint, I would strongly suggest that maybe you put your voice, or whoever has, your heart cannot be conveyed by a computer. And that's where that AI and human interaction take a role. So it's very important. You can't expect someone else to really put the heart of what you're living through, as long as you know that it's someone that you want it to be representative of your organization and your mission. So be cautious as to who you're appointing for that job, and it's an important one, someone that can really convey through the tone of the voice, the passion, and really what the organization is about.
I want to share with you what actually just happened right now, because actually when I put it in there, I forgot to put the website. I said, go to this website, analyze it, and use information from it to rewrite the script. And it responded, sorry, I can't do that. And it was because I didn't put the website, the address, right? So I kind of want to show you how I fixed it. This little button here is the edit button. And I actually just went in there, I edited, I pasted the website, and I just hit save and submit again. And then it went to Bing, if you noticed it, because of the Microsoft arrangement, it went to Bing, and it said, based on the valuable information gathered from the website, I've tailored a revised script to reflect the unique mission and activities of your nonprofit. The script is crafted to resonate with your audience's desire to make a meaningful impact through social media engagement, right? And so it just changed it, right? And it made it more specific. So that's how you would do it, right? And again, fine-tuning it, changing it, go back. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say hypothetically I made a mistake and it actually pulled the wrong site, right? And it analyzed it, but guess what? It wasn't, my right website. Just go back in here. You can edit it, change it to whatever it was, have it rerun again. You can actually go through the process of kind of fine-tuning it from there and kind of go. Let's see if this actually did something here. Let's see, let's preview. And again, this is the original version.
It's a little creepy to me.
Still fascinating, though.
It's wonderful. It's fascinating. It's incredible. It's a little creepy.
Well, so I will back it up. When you record your voice and upload it, it is in your exact specific voice, and it will match word for word. Okay, so I remember I said it's the robotic tuned aspect of it. Again, we're on a free trial. If you pay for the upgrade, you can go in there and actually, kind of do it. But what I wanted to show you was kind of the images, right? And so what's cool about
it's
Pictory
incredible.
is that when you're in here and you're like, you know what, where's like the video of where I'm kind of looking at this? You can actually search for anything here and just replace any aspect of it, right? So I'm looking at it like, this is not really the, you know, where I kind of want to begin with, right? You know, let's just search for, you know, sunrise.
Yeah.